You know that saying about never getting a second chance to make a first impression? Well, in today's digital world, that first impression happens through a screen. Whether you're interviewing for your dream job, pitching to clients, or leading team meetings, your virtual presence can make or break your professional relationships. But here's the thing. Most people are still treating virtual meetings like they're just a temporary solution, when in reality, they're now a permanent part of our professional lives. Let's face it, virtual meetings aren't just regular meetings through a screen. They're a completely different playing field. Did you know that a whopping 93% of communication is non-verbal? In virtual meetings, this becomes even more crucial because every gesture, facial expression, and background detail is literally framed on screen. That slight echo in your audio, the shadows on your face, or that pile of laundry in the background, these small details that you might overlook become magnified on camera. They're telling your story whether you want them to or not. And here's the biggest challenge: you're not just competing for attention with other meeting participants. You're competing with emails, chat notifications, and every other digital distraction on your audience's screen. This means you need to work even harder to maintain engagement. Let's break down what actually makes someone command attention in a virtual space. There are 4 key elements that the most impressive virtual communicators have mastered. Visual impact isn't just about looking professional, it's about creating a consistent, memorable brand through your appearance, lighting, and background. Think of it as your virtual handshake. Vocal authority means using your voice as an instrument. It's about varying your pace, pitch, and power to keep listeners engaged and emphasize key points. Your voice needs to do extra work to compensate for the physical distance. Technical mastery doesn't mean being an IT expert. It means being so comfortable with your tools that technology becomes invisible, allowing your message to shine through without technical hiccups. Engagement skills are your secret weapon. While others talk at their screen, you'll learn to create genuine connections through it, using interactive techniques that make everyone feel involved. The difference between looking amateur and professional in virtual meetings often comes down to small but crucial details. Let's compare what most people do versus what the pros know. By contrasting common mistakes with professional techniques, you'll see how small adjustments can dramatically improve your virtual presence. You've seen it, someone sitting in front of a window looking like a mysterious shadow figure. This immediately signals amateur and makes it hard for others to connect with you. Professional lighting isn't just about being seen, it's about being remembered. A well-lit face creates trust and helps others connect with your message. Nervous energy often comes out as verbal fillers that undermine your authority. These become even more noticeable in virtual settings where audio is focused solely on the speaker. Master communicators use intentional pauses to build anticipation, emphasize points, and give others time to process information. Silence becomes a tool, not something to fear. Many people default to sharing their screen for entire presentations, turning an interactive meeting into a passive webinar experience. Pros mix up their visual elements, switching between faces, slides, and interactive elements to maintain attention and energy. Reading directly from notes creates a disconnected, robotic impression that kills engagement and makes you appear unprepared. Speaking naturally, even with complex topics, shows confidence and expertise. It turns presentations into conversations and keeps audiences engaged. Your background isn't just a backdrop, it's telling a story about who you are and how seriously you take this interaction. Let's explore the 4 key aspects of creating a background that enhances your professional presence. First, let's talk about creating your professional zone. The key is to have enough blank wall space to avoid visual distraction, but not so much that it looks sterile. Think about the difference between a museum gallery and an empty room. Strategic placement of professional items like awards, degrees, or tasteful art can build credibility without showing off. It's about subtle suggestions, not obvious statements. Creating depth in your frame helps avoid that stuck-to-the-wall look. Try sitting about 3 to 4 feet from your background with subtle decor at different depths. Lighting can make or break your virtual presence. Let's get it right. Your main light source should be at eye level or slightly above, positioned about 45 degrees from your face. This creates natural-looking illumination that's flattering and professional. A second, softer light source eliminates harsh shadows and adds dimension to your face. Think of it as your personal cinematographer. The goal is to look naturally well lit, not like you're in an interrogation room. Soft, diffused light is your best friend here. Colors in your background affect how people perceive you. Neutral base colors like soft grays, blues, or warm whites create a professional foundation that won't compete with your presence. If you have a brand color scheme, incorporate subtle elements that align with it. This creates subliminal consistency. Busy patterns or high contrast elements can create visual noise and even cause problems with video compression. Keep it simple and elegant. When a physical background isn't possible, virtual options can work if done right. Invest time in finding high-resolution backgrounds that look realistic. That free beach photo isn't fooling anyone. Some platforms offer subtle animated backgrounds, like gentle leaf movements or soft light changes. These can add life without distraction. If you're serious about virtual backgrounds, a proper green screen setup is worth the investment. It's the difference between looking professional and looking like you're floating in space. Understanding the psychology behind virtual connections can give you a massive advantage in how you're perceived. Let's explore the subtle but powerful factors that influence how people connect with you through the screen. Here's something fascinating. When you look directly at someone's face on your screen, you're actually appearing to look down to them. The secret is to look directly into your camera lens when speaking. It feels unnatural at first, but it creates that powerful sense of eye contact that builds trust and engagement. Try putting a small sticker near your camera as a reminder. In physical meetings, we rely on countless body language cues to communicate. In virtual spaces, these are limited but become more concentrated. Nodding, leaning forward slightly, and using hand gestures deliberately becomes crucial. Think of it as body language amplified. Every movement needs to be intentional and meaningful. The energy you project needs to be about 120% of what you'd use in person. What feels slightly over-energetic to you usually comes across as just right through the screen. This isn't about being fake, it's about compensating for the natural energy loss that happens through digital transmission. Your facial expressions are now in a spotlight. Micro-expressions that might go unnoticed in person become much more visible in that close-up video frame. Practice being more expressive while staying authentic. Think newscaster level of facial engagement, present but not exaggerated. I call this the connection triangle. It's the balance between your eyes, your smile, and your hands. When these three elements work together naturally, you create a sense of genuine presence that transcends the digital barrier. It's about orchestrating these elements to work in harmony, not focusing on them individually. Let's talk about the technical foundation that makes everything else possible. Think of this as your virtual meeting command center. Your camera should be at eye level or slightly above. No one wants to say up your nose. Whether you're using a built-in webcam or an external one, position it so you're framed from mid-chest up with a bit of space above your head. Pro tip: external cameras with at least 1080p resolution make a massive difference in how professional you appear. It's like upgrading from standard TV to HD. Once you see the difference, you can't go back. Audio is actually more important than video quality. A good microphone is your best investment. I recommend a USB condenser mic or even a quality lavalier. Position it about 6 to 8 inches from your mouth, and please test your audio before important meetings. Nothing kills credibility faster than the phrase, "Can you hear me now?" Think about it. People will forgive poor video, but they'll leave a meeting with bad audio. Here's a secret about internet stability that most people don't know. Ethernet cables are still king. Yes, even in 2024. While everyone else is fighting with Wi-Fi, a direct connection gives you that bulletproof stability you need. If you must use Wi-Fi, position your router in line of sight and use the 5 GHz band. And always run a speed test before important meetings. The pros always have a backup plan. Keep your phone's hotspot ready as a backup internet connection. Have a second device charged and ready to go. Store a portable light source nearby. It's like having an emergency kit. You hope you'll never need it, but you'll be so glad you have it when you do. After all the technical tips and strategies we've covered, here's the fundamental truth that ties everything together. Your virtual presence should make others feel more present, not less connected. This is the golden rule of virtual meetings, and it's why all these details matter. When you nail your virtual presence, something magical happens. The technology fades into the background, and real human connection takes center stage. It's not about being perfect, it's about creating an environment where others feel seen, heard, and valued. Think about the best virtual interactions you've had. They probably felt less like video calls and more like genuine conversations. That's what we're aiming for. When you focus on making others feel more present, you naturally elevate every interaction from a mere digital exchange to a meaningful connection. And in today's hybrid world, that's what sets the true professionals apart. Your body language speaks volumes, even through a tiny video window. Let's explore how to adapt traditional body language for maximum impact in the digital space. The digital lean is your secret weapon for showing engagement. Sitting slightly forward about 15 degrees from your normal position signals interest and attention. But here's the key. Maintain this position only during important moments. Just like in real conversations, varying your position keeps things dynamic and natural. Hand gestures need to be intentional and framed. Keep your hands between your chest and lower chin when gesturing, and use deliberate movements that stay within your camera frame. Think of it as having an invisible box. Your gestures should stay inside it. The most effective gestures are those that emphasize your points without becoming distracting. Your power posture needs to work harder in virtual spaces. Sit or stand with your shoulders back and head aligned, but avoid looking stiff. A pro tip: position your chair slightly higher than normal. This naturally encourages better posture and projects confidence without looking forced. Listening actively is just as important as speaking. Subtle nods, timely smile responses, and occasional small movements show you're fully engaged. But here's the trick. Make these responses slightly more pronounced than in person, but not so much that they look exaggerated. Think news anchor level of engagement. Movement in virtual spaces needs clear boundaries. Too much movement makes you look nervous, while being too still appears robotic. The sweet spot? Follow the rule of thirds. Stay relatively still for 2/3 of your time, with natural movement in the remaining third. This creates a perfect balance of professionalism and authenticity. Let's turn everything we've learned into immediate action. Here's your game plan for the next 24 hours to transform your virtual presence. First, take 15 minutes right after this video to audit your current setup. Record yourself in your usual meeting position. Look at your lighting, background, camera angle, and audio quality. Make a list of what needs improvement. Even small changes can make a big difference. Remember those background principles we discussed. Apply them now. Next, spend 10 minutes practicing the body language techniques we covered. Try the digital lean, test your hand gesture boundaries, and experiment with different power postures. Record yourself doing this and watch it back. Yes, it might feel awkward, but this practice will make you appear natural and confident when it really counts. Now, set up a quick test call with a friend or colleague. Ask for specific feedback on your virtual presence. Was your audio clear? Did your movements look natural? Was your energy level appropriate? Use this feedback to make real-time adjustments. Remember, it's better to get this feedback in a practice session than during an important meeting. Finally, look at your calendar for the next week. Identify your most important virtual meetings and schedule 5 minutes of prep time before each one. Use this time to check your technical setup, adjust your lighting, and get into the right mindset. Success in virtual meetings isn't just about what you do during the meeting, it's about how you prepare for it.